Hey guys, welcome back to Ludwig's Garage. In today's video, we are getting a first close look at my F103 Audi 60L two-door sedan. This is a Euro spec car. We did not get these cars here in America. I picked this up a few months ago and it's finally in the shop. We're gonna get it up in the air. We're gonna take a close look at it. We're gonna see how bad it is. And by the end of this video, we're gonna figure out if we're gonna build this thing on the channel or we're gonna sell it on to one of you guys. Plot twist, I'm still out of my mind and this is probably a terrible idea, but I like rare junk, so here we are. Let's go. All right, guys, welcome back. The F103 60L two-door is in the shop for the first time, finally. We're finally gonna get a close look at this car. We kind of did like a once over, you know, when I went to Florida to get this thing. Well, let's actually get you guys up to speed. Last summer, I grinded my bones to dust getting the 1000 SP done in time for SEMA so it could be in the Rova motor oil booth in November. My father helped in a massive way and many other friends and companies to get this thing done in time. We got it to SEMA. It was an incredible experience. Super grateful to have that opportunity. Well, about 2 weeks after SEMA, my buddy Tony from Florida called me and said, "Hey man, are you interested in an old Audi?" And I said, "Absolutely not." He goes, "It's cheap, cheap." And then he told me how much, and I Venmo'd him immediately. And this is in Florida. I'm in New Hampshire. This is 1,600 miles away, I think, 1,500 at least. But I had to have it. This is a Euro spec car. The headlights and the front grille give it away immediately. As you already might know, if you saw us pull the 71 Audi Super 90 variant out of the woods, the other F103 platform Audi I have, you'll notice that it's got the round sealed beam US market headlights and a totally different grille to accept those round headlights. And it also has vertical bumperettes on the bumper. That is the US market front end. Well, all of the F103s that were designed for the European market, or essentially every other market other than America, came with these really cool form-fitting, not quite square headlights. They are the coolest. I mean, this is how the car was designed from Audi originally. It's front wheel drive, it's water cooled, it's got inboard front brakes, and it's got torsion suspension, which is basically what the auto unions and DKWs of the early to late 60s also had, that obviously the early Audis adopted. This car was two-stroke from the factory. It's a 3-cylinder longitude mounted front wheel drive car, as is the 2 DKWs I have. This same idea, longitude mounted 4-cylinder front wheel drive inboard front brakes, but not two-stroke. This is a 4-stroke and Mercedes-Benz powered. This has an M118 4-cylinder Mercedes-Benz motor in it from the factory. And today we're gonna get a close look at it. We are not going to detail it, although we are champing at the bit to clean this thing up, make this paint shine again. We're gonna save that for a separate episode. I'm not even gonna clean the glass yet. We're gonna give this thing the full treatment at some point. But what we are gonna do today is we're going to figure out how to get the hood open again. I've had it open before. So the motor is in pieces, and the pieces that aren't on the motor under the hood are in the trunk. So we're gonna pull those out. We're gonna take a look at what we've got. And ultimately what I wanna do in this episode is figure out, do we keep this car for now? It's a two-door sedan F103, which we did not get in America. So my knee-jerk reaction is we keep it. We keep it because I have it now. And we just let it sit until we're ready to get to it because we've got a laundry list of projects to get through first. So let's get a quick walk around this 60L, tell you guys a little bit about this car. We'll get it up in the air too, but we're gonna clean it out as well. We are gonna save the exterior cleaning, but the interior is just a war zone. The Florida sun just scorched earth this thing. And when I went to Pennsylvania to get it, thanks to my buddy Elliot, who hauled it up from Georgia, we lost the whole bottom half of the dash that has the radio in it. Fell right out of it. The seat still works. Can you pull this up? Should flip forward. Yep. Now you guys have heard me talk about this already in the previous episodes of this car, but I still cannot believe that there are a set of pop-out side glass for this car in this car, randomly. And I am colorblind, but I do believe that's green. I do believe they're actually green framed pop-out side glass for an F103 two-door, which is crazy. These are static windows. These do not pop out. But as you can see, the frame comes out with them. I think this passenger seat is literally off the rails. Oh, it is. Okay. How did that happen? All this stuff. Whoa, what is that? Oh, that's the torsion. Okay, we have more to talk about here. So these cars are torsion suspension, and that torsion box looks like it's still pretty solid. I know nothing about the torsion suspension in these cars, and that is like ultimately the bell crank, it looks like, that grabs the torsion bar, which I think is square. I still have no idea where these would have come from, and it blows my mind they're green. Wow, this is nuts. This is so crazy. Oh no! Oh, this bottom one doesn't even have glass in it. I never even knew that. Oh man. Well, this looks like flat glass, so maybe we could move it over. Oh, I had no idea. What else do we got? We got a sun visor, passenger side, totally scorched earth. I'll throw that right in the bin. No sense in saving that. And we have the passenger side mirror, which still has the lens in it. That rotted away from the post. That's too bad. Totally rotted away from the post. We won't throw this out quite yet. We'll see what we can do. Well, we didn't find any treasures. We did find the rear window frames. One has glass, one does not, unfortunately. But what else I found was this very important piece of trim on the rear parcel shelf behind the rear window, or behind the rear seats, under the rear window. And this, I believe, is the front driver's side fender trim. So it's not quite straight. It's been all bent up, unfortunately. It looks like it was stepped on or something. It's twisted and it's bent. But this is definitely this trim piece. There's 3 carriers out of the 6 that are supposed to be in here. Or wait, 5. Yeah, it's supposed to be 5. I think this fender is right full Bondo. This fender is just caked with filler. You can see it cracking around the side marker here. You can see it cracking up here. I think it got hit maybe, and they just body filled this whole fender. But that's it. Good enough for in the shop. Looks more complete than it did before. It definitely needs work. It needs more clips. It needs to be straightened better, but that makes it look a little more complete than not having it on there. So even though the radio has ejecto ceto, basically all that's above it is just very simple HVAC control, including the headlight switch over here, which is crazy. It's on the right side of the column. And speaking of the column, we've got a shifter on it and 3 pedals on the floor. So you guessed it, this thing is a 4-speed column shift manual. That's first gear, second gear, back up to neutral, and towards the dash up is third, and straight down is fourth. And usually, I've never driven this car, but usually all the way to you and up is reverse. But another cool part right here is the original kilometer cluster, since this was a Euro market car. So it's got kilometer speedometer in it. So the backside of the trunk was red at some point. Oh yeah, you can see it in camera right there. So this came off under the car. Clearly the left front fender's been bondoed to high heaven. Who knows what kind of life this car lived. And also, huge thanks to my European and German friends who saw the video when I first acquired this car. They were able to immediately recognize the front German plate on it, which is a year 2000 export plate. And I don't remember what region of Germany that plate designates. but it does show that it's a 2000 export plate, which means this car was more than likely imported to America, or at least out of Germany in 2000. So it's been here for 26 years. Most of those years, I would suspect in Florida, just by the look of the scorched earth interior. So in the trunk, we have a bunch of engine components, lots of coolant lines. We have a little radiator here, a little half radiator, cute little thing. We have a Rubbermaid tote with rubber hoses, mostly coolant, it seems. We have a rotor with the crazy early Audi 4-lug bolt pattern. This is not 4x100. This is not 4x130 like the Beetles. This is 4x140, which was another odd 4-lug pattern that Auto Union was messing with. And the size of the hub is absolutely gigantic. There's a caliper in here too. We got an air bonnet. Got the air bonnet here. This segment of the episode is brought to you by PB Blaster Penetrating Oil. Literally use it on everything. All right, what's in the box? This here is the air intake, I believe. I think the radiator mounts here, and this goes up against the front of the car and receives the air, and the radiator is, oh, I think it goes like this. This intake manifold has been like media blasted or sonic cleaned, or maybe just painted. This is the intake manifold here. This is where the carburetor mounts. All right, this is what else we've got. People actually labeled the hardware in some of these baggies. So this is the radiator hardware, manifold hardware. We've got some brackets. We've got the front case of a water pump, maybe. And this is the water pump here. You can see by the impeller. We've got a water pump. Looks like a thermostat housing. This is coolant. Oh, and a carburetor. Hey, how about that? What are you? Are you a Solex? Oh, Solex. This is a Solex 35 PDS-IT-5. I know nothing about that carburetor. Awesome. Vital components if we were to ever try to put this motor back together. So that's where the fuel tank sits, pancaked in the trunk, fuel neck out to the passenger side. Got a full-size spare here, and the factory jack. Got everything vacuumed out, lots of Florida vegetation in here. It is clear we have many repairs. These are all like galvanized sheet metal pieces that are just kind of like cocked in here. We've got one there under the fuel neck. We've got one that goes all the way across. I didn't even notice this before we started vacuuming this out. So that is under here. Yeah, it's this piece right here. And as you can see, the rear valance of this car has completely rotted out. And that one's galvanized metal too. And then on this side is just insanity. Inside, the same. That's riveted, as you can see there. That's riveted. They kind of made it a lip. They made a lip around it. And I mean, it looks like they took some time doing it. But this trunk pan is just rotted way more than I thought before we started vacuuming this. The rear like unibody frame rails that go up and over the rear beam look solid enough. The wheel wells look solid enough. Up in here is where it gets quite crunchy. Because I don't remember if the cable is still connected. Let's see, right here. I hear it doing something out there. Doesn't sound like it did anything though. And I do remember there's a latch here and there's a latch here. So it's not just one in the middle that you have to contend with. This feels like it's not released at all. That one feels like it could be released. Ooh, I see you. I see you. I see a spring. Let's soak that down in Blaster. There we go. Look at the size of that bolt pattern versus the hub bore. Wild. And front wheel drive. gracious. Man, that thing is stuck. Put some blaster on this too. The other three came off. They came off hard, but they came off. Oh, someone's been hammering on that hub. Why would you ever hammer on that hub? The wheel literally won't come off because the outside of that hub is all knurled up. I took the little edge wheel to kind of cut those burrs down, and then took the sanding disc to it to kind of smooth it out and make it look a little bit more pretty. But we were able to get the wheel on and off now. Yeah, I wonder what that was all about. The only thing I can think of is that this hub was like seized up, and they hammered it with the wheel on because it was done with the wheel on, because you wouldn't have been able to get the wheel on after all that hammering. Okay, so the side quest of getting the hood open, I think, is close to an end. Has a direct line to the hinge right there. Oh. So I think I can get a bar on that and pry it. Let's see, can you guys even see this? Maybe. Oh, I can move it. Okay, I'm gonna put you guys on a tripod. At least we can get to it. I see you. Oh, got it. Yes. Okay, now can I keep it? Can I keep it open? Ah. This is the heaviest hood. All right, so here's the engine bay of the 60. You can see how leaned over that M118 Mercedes motor is. It's crazy, like literally leaned right over. So we're missing the intake manifold. The exhaust manifold is still on it, and actually the whole exhaust system is still on it. Pretty crazy that these Mercedes motors already had the Auto Union, which was now Audi, ring logo on them. Distributor's still in it. Plugs are still in it. It's kind of almost complete. Got our fuel line coming in from, well, it's not really a hard line, I guess. Fuel line comes in. It's even still got an inline filter, which would go right here to the fuel pump, and then out of the pump to the carburetor. Dipstick, we'll check that in a second. Yeah, it still has. Coil is still in it. Got a coil wire. Could this thing touch off if we put everything together? I think we have one line that goes to all of our brakes out of this master, and then that hose that comes out of that banjo fitting goes right down to the transmission. Right there. That'd be crazy if this 71 Audi had a hydraulic clutch in it. That is wild. All right, let's see if it has any oil in it. Oh, it does. It's it's on the full mark. Can you see that? Can you guys see that? That is literally at the full mark. Doesn't smell like fuel either. Well, rust-wise, this thing really isn't too bad. As far as the strut towers here that go down to the like transmission mounts, essentially, with the frame rails that come up, that's all pretty solid. Surprisingly, the front valence is super rusty. The fender meets the rad support, or I guess what would be the rad support, is pretty rusty. Over here isn't too bad. All up in the rain tray there is all solid. All across the back hood seal there is all solid. Surprising. Very surprising. All right, underneath. These M118 oil pans hang down pretty far, and that is definitely aluminum. Look at that. For a low car layout, that is pan destroyed territory. Crazy lower A-arm torsion bar setup. This here's the torsion bar, goes back beyond the control arm, all the way back to this box that does look pretty rusty. I'm wondering if the access to the end of that torsion bar up in the cabin will allow us to adjust it. It looks like there's a big hex head on the end here, but it's not lined up to the hole anymore. You know, as rusty as I expected, there's some rot like inside the rocker panel here, but the frame rail is solid enough. This cross member for the transmission, it's got a full exhaust system still in it. This here, I wonder if that's your adjustment. Some of you guys that might know more about this, I wonder if that's your adjustment, because I think that's the threaded rod that goes up to the bell crank that would turn this thing. Maybe we put an impact on that and give her a rip and see what happens. I'll take a look at my service manual and see if it shows how that suspension is adjusted. Coming to the back, you know, footwell's surprisingly solid. How is that even possible? Front and rear footwells are actually solid. That is bizarre. I would have expected that to be completely rotted out. Rockers here, you know, tender, solid enough for what I do. Back part of the frame rails that go to the torsion tube here look okay. And this is the other thing too. Check this out. I've talked about this with the DKW Junior. The rear of this is basically the rear end of a Beetle without the motor. Because this right here is almost identical to a Volkswagen Beetle. There's a torsion bar, or two torsion bars, that come out to these spring plates, just like a Beetle. And if you're familiar with Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3 Volkswagen, this will look very familiar to you. So this spring plate slides over the splines on the end of the torsion bar here and come back to what would normally be an axle, but in this car is just a beam because it's front wheel drive. So that spring plate comes back to these two bolts. Is there three? There's three. There's one right there. And then it's just a beam with a panhard bar, which isn't even really a bar. Look at this. It's like channel. So it mounts to the chassis, or technically the torsion tube, on the car, and then comes down to the beam right here. And that basically gives that beam stability from side to side movement. And then the spring plates act as a lateral bar basically to keep the caster straight. If those bolts up front can twist the torsion adjustment for the front, and this rear spring plate is splined, we should be able to knock these spring plates off, just like a Beetle, re-index them up to immediately drop the car, crank the fronts down, and lower this car, maybe not as far as we'd want to, but we might be able to lower this car for free by just re-indexing the torsion setup. That's good to know. This whole frame rail in here seems solid enough. I think the other side as well. The back valance, the body is what is the worst. Like, the body is what has fallen apart. Like, the valance is gone. It's got all this random galvanized plate. A lot of rot up in here where this piece has been replaced. It's like body rot. But yeah, this frame rail here looks solid enough. Down underneath, it's really not that terrible. You guys have seen the Super 90. That's terrible. The 1000 SP, the BMW 700, those were terrible. This isn't that terrible. Interior's completely roached, yes, but that's fine. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do we hang on to this thing? Put it into a future queue, or put it into the queue for the future, for projects? Here's what I think. We try to get the Super 90 M118 running, because that's complete. The belts are still on it, everything's complete. This motor's had the intake off and stuff, and this one might just as well be as runnable as the one in the Super 90. But now we have two M118 motors, which is incredible. And the one in the Super 90 is complete. Like literally a Ranwin Park scenario. They drove that car into the junkyard in 1978 and shut the thing off. And now I have it. Between the two motors, we might be able to get an M118 running in this thing. Now, it's not ideal. I don't want to deal with this front wheel drive inboard brake system. Do we simply get an M118 running, get it driving and stopping, and slam it on the ground on cool wheels? That's what we're doing with the variant, but we're going a different route.